Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Xwf Podcast with your host, Chronic Chris Page, them no good bastards, Thunder Knuckles, Bobby Bourbon, and yes, if available, Bearded War Pig. And the action starts now.
What's going on, XWF Universe? It's another episode of the XWF Podcast coming to you this week with, my partners in crime, them no good bastards, TK, Bobby Bourbon. Welcome back to the show, guys. Another one, as Queen would say, another one's getting ready to bite the dust. How are you guys doing today?
Well, Chris, I'm actually doing pretty good myself. I wanted to take a moment to talk about something, but I forgot what it was, so I'm just going to waste a moment instead talking about nothing. TK, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing great. Nothing to complain about. Let's just jump on in, get to these shows. We got a lot to cover today.
Yeah, there's 4 shows that we're looking at. We've got the Retro Anarchy show, we've got Savage, we have Warfare, and we have this past week's Anarchy show all to cover. We've got a guest with us in the driver's seat today. Let's welcome him on in. Big D, welcome to the podcast, sir. Yeah, you're on with myself and Bobby and TK. How's it going, brother?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
It's going to be a long show, so I hope you're ready to strap in and get ready and go with this. We're honored to have you on. You've been a staple in the Fed for fucking ever. When did you come into the XWF, roughly?
March 2019, I think the end of it.
Oh, so we came in right around the same time then.
Yeah, I always kind of had an eye on you because, we were kind of about the same, time frame came in. Then I saw that you had a past. So I was like, oh, well, he's not new, but, I am.
Yeah, no, my past is very checkered. It is what it is. And you've kind of been running nonstop since then. You've had a couple of championships. You've done some pretty good stuff, and we'll get into some of that here in just a little bit. We'll initially start with the Retro Anarchy show. Some notable things taking place here. TK, man, I'm gonna throw it over to you to walk us through this one.
All right. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run down the card and just name off the winners. We do have a lot to cover today. If I forget like a segment or something, I apologize in advance. First on the card, we have Murph versus Graves. Murph walks away with this one. Then we have Honky Lighthouse versus, can't say the name, not going to try, but Honky loses.
Hold on, I'm going to try to say the name. Can I try to say the name?
Yep, go for it.
Absolutely.
All right. I'm trying to catch up. Okay. And this is the Retro Anarchy?
Yep. It's Honky
Yes, sir.
Lighthouse versus...
Oh, Giovanni DeSantis.
Yep.
Giovanni DeSantis. Not a shock that Honky did not pick up this victory. If anyone out there is familiar with the epic work of a Honky Tonk Lighthouse,
Definitely not.
the king of the one sentence role plays, man. I'm telling you.
Oh.
I'm telling you, it was good. He was a national treasure back in the day. Sorry, go ahead, TK.
Then we have John Black versus Ariel Dixon. John Black picks up the win here.
Good for JB.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, another good win for him.
Friend of the show. Love that guy. Shout out to you, JB, man. Keep doing what you're doing. I know you got a big one coming up on Anarchy, this upcoming show against the Bastards and Syndicate, man. Keep rocking it out.
Then we have Barney Green and a no-show versus Sinton OG Mav.
Great to see Barney back in the mix. I know that he's been away for a while. He's, cult favorite of many, and his goddamn partner not showing up fuck that guy. Can't believe that happened. Uh, what did you guys? That was a throwback match. So what did Big D? What did you think about seeing Sent and OG Math back as a tag team? I mean, I know that you probably never saw them back in the day when they were teaming up, but that's like a throwback if there ever was one.
Well, if I remember right, isn't OG Mav Sen's brother?
Yeah, that's the story we got. But, that's from Sense, so we're not sure how accurate it is. Not saying he's alone. He's just brain damaged.
But it's nice to see, them classics, like Barney, even, old school as well. And I don't really know about the No Show, but it's good match for Retro Anarchy.
Listen, when I say fuck that guy, I mean fuck that guy. How dare they no show fucking Barney Green?
Yeah, it doesn't sound like he wants to cross your path.
Spoiler alert. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, that Seth Stevens was me, and I totally forgot I had to take this match. So there's the reason why that happened. That's why I say fuck that guy.
Perfect.
Oh, now he's a real asshole then.
And truly fuck that guy.
Truly fuck that guy. Yeah.
Then we roll into our first title match of the evening, Atara Themis versus Roxy Cotton for the internet title. Atara picks up the win here. She put in some really good stuff on Twitter that week versus Roxy, and Roxy was giving her hell back, so that was some tough shit.
It's good to see the exchanges, though. I mean, I'm not a big, obviously everybody knows I'm not a big Twitter guy, but I did hop on, what was it, yesterday, made an obligatory post and went back and looked at some of the tweets from Atara and from Roxy from back when this took place, and that was good. I'm a big fan of both of theirs.
I didn't see the tweets, but Atara's been doing a lot lately. I can tell you that. She's been having a run.
She's made her presence known, and it's always good to see when somebody just comes in and blows up. And that's kind of what she's done. She's over the last 4 or 5 months, she's really turned it, kicked it into another gear. It's almost like you see that motivation, and that's always a really good thing to see.
After that match, we have Bobby Bourbon, TK's absolutely favorite tag team partner of all time, versus Legacy's Betsy Granger. And since we have him on the call right now, I say we just kick it over to Bobby and let him tell us what's going on here.
Well, I like working with Betsy. There's some there's a plot thing that I want to do with my character. I've been wanting to do it for a while, and first I thought, well, maybe we'll do it with Doc, and then I was trying to think of who I could do this with, and right now I think that the best candidate to do this story thing with is Betsy. She's in on what's going to be happening. I told Sent that, I wanted Betsy for the show and that I was going to write out the whole match, the way it panned out. And, hopefully we can tell an interesting enough story with what's going on. Because, it could have gone a lot of different ways. Now, a lot of people were pointing at, Raven wasn't going to defend Betsy. Well, let's face facts. Who cares if Raven ever comes back? He was a flash in the pan thing. He showed up at Leap of Faith. Warstein's not coming back. I guess there's a ding right there. They have other things to do with Fedverse, and that's on them. We don't need them to have a good time or tell good stories. So me and Betsy will do the work, and I'm going to do this cool thing with Betsy, and I look forward to seeing what happens with it. And she's been on it, and when we get to covering Warfare, there's a little bit more to our storyline too. But if you've read Warfare, you know that too. But yeah, I try to make it as. I think the best reaction I got to it, because I let a couple of people preview it. I let a Tara Themis check it out, just to proof it and make sure that give it the old sanity check to make sure it was making sense and jiving and it wasn't just gibberish being put out there. And her reaction was just one word: "Wow." As soon as I got that, I was like, okay, that's the tone I'm looking for. I'm trying to write something that's decidedly just brutal, grotesque, and kind of heavy and dark. So, and I hope it carried out that way. But yeah, look, out of character, love working with Betsy, and we're doing something pretty cool.
It's something that the eyes need to be locked on, and that was off of this show. That was one of the little talking points that I was getting some messages on, which was really, it's always good to see when you get some people invested and hooked in off of one spot. So kudos to you, sir. It was well done.
Thank you.
All right, next we have Ned K versus Game Girl, and I believe the stipulation of this one was a speed run of Ned's game, Into the Void, or Void of the Mind. Which one was it?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. Anyway,
It is Void of the Mind.
Void of the Mind.
That's what I think.
I wish the professor was on here right now to correct me.
I'm looking for it. If I'll find it. But it was an interesting concept for a match.
Ned picks up the win here. Then we move on to our main event of the evening. A extreme title match coming out of Leap of Faith where Lycana picks up a victory over Alias. And then she's thrown right into it with Chris Page.
Goddamn inside cradle.
It happens, bro.
Most devastating move in wrestling, bud. Happens
Goddamn
to
inside cradle. No, in all seriousness, really, really, really well done on her part. She was messaging me after the fact. She's like, "Are you mad?" No, you beat me. Good job. It's nothing to get mad about. It's nothing to get upset about. I know where I went wrong, and I'll fix that. And we'll do it again sometime. A huge win for her, especially coming off of the win over Alias. Then you follow that up with a victory over me. Would think with all the work that I've done character-wise over the last year and a half, that it does mean something to her, and it hopefully puts her on that trajectory and gets her into that main event scene and that main event spotlight, because that's what a win like that does, and she earned it.
I mean, that's a big win for sure. Being extreme champion, they always say it's easier to win titles than defend them, and to defend against a former uni champion, it's a good accomplishment.
Not only that, I mean, coming off of a former uni champion who just lost the belt.
Right.
Anytime if you're a champion and you lose your title, your next match you're coming out guns blazing, right? Because you have to reset the narrative, if you will. It didn't happen here. Yeah, it didn't happen here. It continued, and I did the finish for a reason. Like there was some people out there who needed to see that I don't take liberties with characters, and inside cradle, son of a bitch, some bitch. She got me goddamn inside cradle. I almost thought about doing a second rip fist drop, but I thought that'd be way too old school.
Well, some things I didn't touch on before the main event. There was some segments that happened on this show that do need touched upon. We had Miss Fury come out and do Miss Fury things, but she's interrupted by Solace Tatum, and we see the birth of the Syndicate. Another segment that happened during the show is a Thad and Dolly segment where Thad almost gets him some, but Michael Graves comes in and messes everything up the way Michael Graves always does.
Doc Blocker.
Yeah. And then there was a really good Alias Corey segment. If you get the time to read that, that's good stuff.
Oh yeah, that was definitely a standout.
Mm-hmm. But that concludes Anarchy, fellas.
It was a solid show from Stint,
Yeah.
getting the retro stuff done, and it was a big show coming off of a pay-per-view. There's a lot of big things happening here. A lot of setup work for some potential down the road. Was really well done and really well put together.
I do want to say too. I want to point out. I did like the segments that were thrown in there of like the past matches and whatnot. I'm a little newer, so I don't really know all of it. But for a lot of those older guys, I liked that. I liked that they did that.
It was definitely, and that's the OOC, the cool thing kind of about Scent. When he does some stuff like this that he invests in, he'll do a lot to bridge gaps from the past to the present, and I feel like that happened here, especially with the cutaways to the old school older matches, all the way up to some that were last year.
Yeah,
It kind of highlighted a lot of stars from the past to the present. Um, Big night. I really enjoyed the throwback feel. I think he accomplished what he was setting out to accomplish with the vibe of the show.
Yeah, man, I think he accomplished it.
It rolled us into to Savage from Wrigley Field. Bobby Bourbon, man, you wanna take the lead on this one, or shall I?
I don't mind taking the lead.
What's that, brother? I didn't hear you.
I said I have no problem taking the lead.
All right.
So, top to bottom, this is a pretty good card. Pretty cool names that are on it. Show opens. There's some shenanigans with Dolly, some shenanigans with Atara. Atara comes out and
Cool
talks
thing.
about, yeah.
Sorry, Bobby. Yeah. What were you saying?
Well, we hear about how Atara is giving up the Shooting Star belt to go after the Universal Championship.
How kick ass is that? Like, we were talking about Atara a second ago, and kind of how she's really come into her own and has done some shit here over the last several months to elevate her character and elevate her stock. To come out and throw the challenge out to Alias. That's a ballsy move, number one, from anybody. And the fact that she's willing to do it and willing to get in there with him, that's huge. I'm liking this on a lot of different fronts. Even if it wasn't Atara, if it was somebody else, seeing some fresh faces in the scene, the Universal title scene, to me is it's a good thing to see because characters are being elevated, people are being elevated, and the division is being elevated, and this is just another step in that direction.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, D?
Oh, I love it from a character standpoint. Like, cause first of all, she gives up the belt for the world title shot, but then she's still competing for the belt later, so she can win it back and still have her shot. And it's like, not only does that take some ingenuity and some just genius thinking, you you also have to have confidence in yourself that you're going to win that belt back later on.
It's true. D, I'm going to let you know. We had a big discussion about what you were going to sound like before we started doing the podcast.
Oh, God.
And nobody had the clone of Ned K picked. I'm sorry, man, but I'm not saying that as an insult, but you and Ned sound very similar. And nobody had that.
I talked to him in chat before, and I thought that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out because it was on my mind. They do sound eerily similar for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we're the same person.
Ooh.
Dun, dun, dun. I can say that is that is definitely not the case because I've been in a video chat with you, D, and I've been in a video chat with Ned, and you're definitely polar opposite. So you do sound
Right.
rather identical, though.
Well, that said, I wanted to bring that up, and I don't want that edited out. That's like you've been a pleasure so far to have on the show. Like
Well, thank you. I
I'm glad.
appreciate that.
Like, well, that said, we lead into our first match: Tommy Wish versus Corporate Chaos versus Doc. It's a corporate street fight. Corporate Chaos may use weapons, while Tommy Wish and Doc may not. Pretty good read, pretty good match. Doc winds up winning this one in the end. TK, what'd you think of this match?
I think it was really, really well written. I don't know who wrote the match, but I enjoyed it.
It was me.
Was it you? I like it.
Yeah.
You do good.
Thank you.
I think Corporate Chaos put in a lot of good work going into this thing. Doc pulled it out. I mean, Doc is Doc, right?
Anytime you see Doc's name on the card, it's hard to ever vote against him, right? And Chaos, no exception. He did put up some decent stuff, but it was just not on the level to take out Doc. I want to see some more embracing of the corporate chaos, the gimmick itself. And I think that if Chris Chaos was to fully invest and go all in on this character, that there's a lot of legs there. He can go as far with it as he wants to go with it. That said, Doc picking up the win, building some momentum. I'm sure he's got some things on deck for his character, and we're just all going to have to sit back and wait and see. It was a really good match, really well written. I want to sidebar this real quick and say that when it comes to match writing, Big D and I think we have a competition to see who can write the best match for a particular show. And I think that it's a friendly competition because this one was really well put together and a solid opening match for a small show, but a great read to kick things off. I think all the characters look really good in it.
Thanks. I wanted to make sure that all their effort, was work paid off. I always like to make everyone look good when I can.
It's solid. It's rock solid. Where are we going next, Bobby?
Well, up next, we already brought the girl up herself. You know her, you love her. Atara Themis going up against Dolly Waters. Love Dolly. Going up against Graves. All three of them near and dear to our hearts. Reverse ladder match. And this is for the Shooting Star title. And again, great action. I don't know how I would have written a match like this with the stipulation as is and making it engaging. Whoever tackled it nailed it. But ultimately, Tara Themis regains her Shooting Star Championship.
God, can you imagine if she was going to be Alias with all them belts? God.
Wait for Addie, 15 belts. That's what I'm waiting for.
That's what I was about to say. It's going to be Addie like 30,000 belts when it's all said and done. Great. It was a good little match here. Seeing her, regain the championship after vacating it. When I saw that, I was like #heel because that was just such a heel move. And that it worked on so many different levels. Good job, Addie. Love it. Love how it turned out. Liked the match. I loved who wrote it. It did its job for sure.
Moving right along. We get to Centurion versus Chronic. Chris Page. Page, go ahead and tell us about your experience going up against the legend that is Centurion.
Scent's always fun. This was the first time that Scent and Page were actually able to hook up and role play against each other. I've worked with Scent as a couple other characters here and there, but never the Scent Page dynamic had ever happened. So it was fun to make that work, and it was fun to see what he brought to the table. I wrote the match, so I know how it panned out. I know the flow of it. Um, Going over, you know, coming off the loss to Lacana, I didn't know what to expect. So rewriting that, resetting my track with a win was huge, and I just kind of wanted it to feel like it was a special match, like two legends going at it, and I hope that I conveyed it, and I hope that was the general consensus coming out of it.
Well,
I
there's
can
that
definitely agree with
competition
that.
you were talking about, with the matches, it's like I wrote the first one, and then you're there, trying to one up me, right?
Uh, well, I mean, I love when I write matches, especially if my character's involved with it. I always take the Ric Flair approach, and that's that, like, people want to see the bad guy get his ass kicked, right?
Mhm.
So I try to convey that with any match that I touch. If I have a distinct baby face and a distinct heel, like, I want the crowd to hate the heel. I want, you know what I mean? Like, it's all psychology and how the flow of the match goes. And I thought that this one delivered.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, it's funny. My wife, we were watching wrestling last night, and she doesn't really watch it, but she was paying attention to match. And the thing I like about wrestling is you got the wrestlers, then you also got the ref, and then the crowd. It's like it kind of all ties together. It's like it's nice to do that in matches too when you write them. Just kind of bring a little bit more. It makes it feel so much bigger.
Right on. I mean, and then mission accomplished. TK, what'd you think about that?
I think Centurion should have picked up a win here. And I'll just leave it at that.
Well, I think you're wrong, and I'll leave it at that. Bobby.
Yeah, I think it was a hell of a read. It was a good match. You definitely hit the tone you were looking for. And ultimately there was some chicanery with Robert Maine and Miss Fury also kind of get involved towards the end, which good
Yeah,
storytelling.
I had meant to say that too. If you go back to the Retro Anarchy card with the match with Lacana, towards the end of it, Robert's music hits and there was no Maine. Same thing, same concept happens here. Maine's music hits mid match or late match, and there's nothing there, which will all tie into once we get to Warfare. But it was not, it's the mind game that Robert Maine and Apex was playing with Chris Page and Bob, which will play into the main event of the show as well.
Well, following that match, we get a little segment from Billy B. Blankenship, which you can read them yourself. A lot of his messages are pretty similar, pretty samey. I just want Billy B. Blankenship's handler to know that me and TK are keeping an eye on you. We're waiting on whoever you're bringing. We'll beat them.
I like the Jim
Right,
Cornette
TK?
clickbaits.
I
Yep.
love whoever this is, by the way. This shit's gold.
Oh, it is. It's good. It's funny. It's interesting. Yeah, bring
Well,
it.
anybody who rocks Cornette as a pig base, I'm sold for off rip. I like how that's happening. What I like more out of the Blankenship is it spawned the Freddy Fabulous character for the Disintegrators, which I thought was also hilarious, as Joel Gertner. I thought that shit was funny as fuck.
I agree. Well, this brings us down to our main event: Andre Dixon versus Corey Smith for the television title. Which, at the end of it, we do have a new television champion. But
Yeah, that we do.
yeah,
You know, again, that's kind of like that Atara situation. You know, Corey's sitting there with the title and the 24/7 briefcase. You know, life's pretty good for him too.
Yeah, he turned it up and he did what he needed to do, and he picked up the championship in the process. I mean, that's what the game is about. Um, regardless of out of character reasonings for Dre not being able to show up, at the end of the day, you have a new television champion. Which hindsight 2020, Bob's losing belts right now. That's a fact. It's happening. The Universal Championship is gone. The TV title is gone. But what people fail to realize about Bob is the reality is we don't need the fucking belts, and we have them because we wanted them. Now that we don't have them, how much dangerous does that make us to get them back? You know what I'm saying? Like on an in-character standpoint.
True.
I'd like to point out too, you know, that just because Dre didn't show up doesn't mean that Corey doesn't deserve it. You know, he'll be a good champion. He's gonna defend it, and I mean, he had
There's no
luck.
doubt.
He
He's
was champion
earned
for
it.
8 weeks, or 8
He's earned-
defenses.
He's earned it. There's no denying that. Look at his track. Just one Leap of Faith, which had hella competitors in it, with Doc and Jim Cadis returning, and Thrax putting up some pretty good stuff for that, as Charlie Nichols. I think he's there. Corey over the last since right before March Madness. And when he started doing singles bookings, he's undefeated. He's beaten Betsy Granger. He's beaten Centurion. He beat Dixon when Dixon came in initially. He just beat him for the TV title. He's unstoppable. I agree with that 100%. He has earned the opportunity to be there and to hold any championship right now. Like he has that talent, he has that ability. It's a fact.
I think he can hold this belt for all 8 defenses and get a shot at the uni while holding a 24/7 briefcase, which is fucking awesome.
There's all kinds of little neat things that can happen here. You know, well, I mean, I guess if he was to cash in at some point, he would have to give up the TV title. So, I mean, what better way to lock down 2 championship opportunities than to make those defenses, get them out the way, and you, in theory, could knock that out in what, 2 months, 2.5 months, maybe. Well, no, because you get 2 shows.
It'd be 2 a month. Yeah, 2 months would be 4 months.
So yeah, well, I mean, you could still wrap that up pretty quick. By the end of the year, you could be looking at 2 title opportunities, and now how dangerous does that make him? Man, some good shit. That's a good story.
It's true. I can't disagree with that. But that's the end of Savage, though, which leads us into Warfare.
Big night on Warfare.
Yes, it is.
There's we had six matches on the show, 7 matches on the show, 3 title matches. My fault. A lot happening here from Washington D.C. Smoking Bob and Diamond trying something a little different. Using the environment of the city as match environments as well, which is a little interesting touch on things. The show kicks off with the Hart champion, Thaddeus Duke, is out, and I don't think that this is the Mark Flynn. Yes, it is. Continuing to call out, former talent Mark Flynn for a hard title match, or not necessarily a hard title match, but for a match in general. Nice little character development there for that angle that could possibly be happening if Flynn ever shows up and answers the challenge. Question to you guys: have any of you ever seen Mark Flynn's work?
I have not.
I can't say that I have.
Bommy, have you? You might be the only one that may have seen something from him
I
about
came
before.
in right after Mark Flynn. I speak with him out of character. Like he's on my Facebook, but I haven't read his work.
Gotcha. Well, he was around back when the Carver era started, and he dealt with me as Slater, and he was the first guy. He's the first guy to get a briefcase. He was the first guy to pin Tristan Slater and take the XWF then World Championship off of Slater. He's a great writer. So if Thad can lock that down, then that would be a tremendous catch and a big match that could happen down the line. So I'm very interested to see where that one goes. Took us into our first match, which was Vita Valentine and Steven Cooper. Um, love how the text is all in blue here. This is an interesting match to kick the show off with that sees Steven Cooper. I'm not going to necessarily call it an upset, but he picks up the win here. TK, let me go over to you first. With Cooper and Stone, which, there's some history with the Bastards coming up that we'll definitely discuss here shortly. Cooper and Stone, kind of honing in on the tag title situation, pops in here with a big singles win. What are your thoughts here?
Well, Steven Cooper picking up the victory over face Vita Valentine. That's big deal. Vita's making her return. Vita wanted to win here, and Cooper wanted to win, so the work was put out. We have Steven Cooper winning.
Bobby.
Yeah, well written match too. A lot of fun to read. I enjoyed it.
Big
I'm
D?
glad to see him get some momentum heading into our title match. That's nice.
It was a nice little pick me up to start the show with, and then we get another Thad segment. It seems like we can't have a warfare without 20 Thaddeus Duke promos. Hey, I appreciate the work. This one is got kind of going to be the story of the night for the Hart title. It's going to involve Morbid Angel, and they're setting up a championship match, and this is like one of, I want to say, two or three that will lead to that. It took us into match number 2. North Korean War Criminals taking on Betsy Granger here. How red hot has North Korean War Criminal been since he's come back to the Fed? This is his second or third match, and he's getting in there with Betsy, and he's knocking her off. This one took place at the Smithsonian. TK, let me go to you first.
I have really enjoyed the work that North Korean War Criminal has put out for everyone he's going up against so far, and I hope he keeps up the good work. And this match itself was really, really nice, and War Criminal winning by DQ, pretty good stuff.
Oh, we'd be remiss if we didn't point out that Bones is the guest referee here. Bobby, let's chat me up. What do you think about the North Korean War Criminal keeping to the winning ways?
Well, War Criminal's always been a very funny writer. I've always found them entertaining. I would say this is a bit of an upset here. I was really expecting Betsy to walk away with this one. But all in all, the match was a good read. It was entertaining. I was rooting for Betsy. Kind of disappointed she didn't win, but hey, give the credit to War Criminal. Awesome match.
D, is this one of yours?
Yeah, it is.
Chat me up on what you thought about embracing the concept of Bones being the referee and it taking place at the Smithsonian.
Well, I offered to write like the day before, I think it was, and I had to message the GMs. Had to be like, I don't know anything about Bones. I don't want the match to just be some shitty match where it's just like she just stands there, and doesn't really play into the character. So they told me that she was very strict and enforces the rules really heavily. I was like, oh, I think I can run with this based on, North Korean war criminal character, and then Betsy being a face, figured it'd be kind of interesting if I made her get in trouble, for stuff, just because, it's how wrestling is sometimes. Did you guys see I think it was a character development thing that North Korean war criminal put up right afterwards?
No, I missed that. What was it?
It was it was really funny. I definitely suggest checking it out. It was him it's basically like North Korea media showing the match, but it was heavily edited and it was pulled off really well. I mean, I literally laughed out loud reading some of that stuff. I was sitting at work, just minding my own business, all of a sudden just burst out laughing just reading some of that stuff.
I'll have to go in and take a look at it.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it was great.
Does it get TK's double thumbs up?
Yes, I love that shit.
I'll have to take a look at it. It took us into another morbid, a piece of Morbid Angel and Thad's little deal that they're setting up for the next Warfare, which then led us to the Heart Championship match, which was Thad defending against Ariel Dixon. No surprise here, Thad retains championship. This was it was a well written match. Throw it over to you first, Big D. What'd you think about Thad retaining the championship? Let me throw it over to you, TK. What'd you think about Thad retaining the championship?
I think the match was well written. A lot of good back and forth between the two. Thad picking up the victory here. I mean, Thaddeus Duke is a hell of a competitor, so you expect him to win more than not.
Bobby Bourbon.
Um, I could have called this one. No slight against Rel Dixon, but Thaddeus Duke is Thaddeus Duke. Um, I might have a good track record against him, but not everybody does. Um, in fact, shots fired. Eubard and Stone combined couldn't beat him. So
Oh. But Big D alone could, so
maybe. So
oh, he did.
Is that a challenge? Do I hear a challenge out there from Big D?
To Thad? I don't know, maybe.
Shots indeed fired.
but the match, good work on Duke. He's moving forward. He's proven himself to be that Hart champion that's a defending champion and showing up on the show and doing what he can. And he's just keeping it going, keeping the momentum going, just like Ned did with the Hart belt. It's awesome. Good to see.
It took us into Centurion Demos. This was the Jefferson Memorial. The only way to win this match was to throw him into the water basin at the base of the memorial itself, and role plays were what they were. Centurion actually, did a shit and picks up the win here. Not much to talk about. It was a nice little brawl around the memorial itself. I wrote this one. I got it late, so you got what you got. So we could get the show up and it be on time. EK, I know how much you love Centurion, so he's back to some winning ways here over Demos.
Yeah, he picked up the win here as he should have, and that's all I'm going to waste time on that with.
Burbs.
I think that this match had a lot of potential to be a lot bigger than it actually turned out being. And I'm going to leave it at that.
How about you, Big D?
Okay. Well, I thought it was a good win for Cent, and I want to say I enjoyed the concept of this whole show, all the match steps and stuff, like the steps of the Capitol, the library or whatever it was, the Smithsonian. That's what it was.
It's a back on track win for Centurion, um, which carried us to a Billy Blankenship promo. Got another one here. Bobby, we go to you with it because looks like he's talking shit about a lot of the tag teams.
Well, I'm glad he does. And we finally get the names drop. It's going to be Kyoja Mansuta and Ricky Goldheart. The can Jap connection, which I believe is Canadian Japanese connection, and they shortened it.
It sounds about right. Big D, what do you think about this little follow up segment for Mr. Blankenship?
Well, I like having more additions to the tag division, especially I've always thought the tag division was a little weak, not the champions or anything, but it just never seems like a lot of people want to go after the belts, and I think it's a shame because the tag division has a lot of potential, so I don't know. I think it's good to see, especially manager too. It's nice to see manager coming in, bringing someone else in. I don't know if it'll be this guy's characters or other people, but it could be interesting regardless how it goes.
I think the tag division it can always be topsy turvy. It depends on who you got and who wants to do something like this and who doesn't, because it's not for everybody, right? It's just not. I'm interested to see the team that's being brought in here. Is getting some. He's definitely doing it the right way and getting some momentum behind the Can Jap connection before they even debut. It'll be interesting to see. I like the little challenge to the disintegrators, playing off of the 24/7 deal that was going back and forth with those two guys. It took us to the tag title match. This is the disintegrators, Dave Mustang and Steel taking on Bourbon and TK as the No Good Bastards. Bobby, let me come over to you, man, because you're involved in this match and. What a fun read, role play wise, from you guys.
Oh, I'm glad you liked it. Me and TK had a lot of fun writing it. And I'll be completely honest, I had a lot of fun reading the dissensions or the disintegrators work. Sorry. I'm not going to mention who the handler is. I'll let anybody else in the room do that because that's up for the discretion of them. But I've always been a fan of the handler's work. I'm not shy about saying that whatsoever. But yeah, I had a lot of fun doing this match. I had a lot of fun reading this match because it's an interesting concept. It's kind of like a wild goose chase, but ultimately, yeah, me and TK we wound up winning as we are apt to do.
Yeah, TK, man.
Yeah, this was a fun one to write. We had a lot of fun doing it. Disintegrators, I'm pulling for you. I really am.
D?
Well, fun reads by both teams. Fan Disintegrators, fan of the Bastards. Maybe not this warfare, but any other time.
all I had to say was woo, woo, woo. All in all, end of the day, Bastards are retaining here. Stuff the whole way around. This is one of those kind of like enhancement matches that it works. It works on so many levels. Post match, we see a. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Post match, we see some shenanigans happen. I'm just going to kick it over to D and let him tell us what's going on here.
I guess shots were fired apparently between EXP and the Bastards. Well, I guess they've already been fired, but just kind of reiterating that we're here.
Got your shot. That's what's coming out of it. It's. I like seeing like little bitty, and I'm not to like I'm not trying to sound disrespectful to Stoner Cooper or the Bastards, but I kind of like to see the the little mini programs get some sort of little build on the shows, like this is kind of done, because to me it's putting a little heat on what is going to be the tag match that we'll see in 2 weeks on Warfare, and to see that it's kind of, it's not just a thrown together booking. Like EXP has come at the Bastards twice now. So now we've got this eventual showdown, and it'll make for some really good TV. Rolled into another segment with that and Morbid. This is where we get, excuse me. This is where we get the confirmation of a Heart title match in 2 weeks. Takes us into the Descendants, Lacana and Marth taking on Apex here. Interesting developments and role plays from all four of these people leading into this match. At the end of the day, though, Apex is picking up the win here. Bobby, and then I'll get into the post match momentarily, but Bobby and TK, even to you, Big D, because you're in the mix, and there's no guarantee that the Bastards will hold the titles. Is Apex on your radar? Cadis and Maine, they've made intentions known.
Are they on our rate? Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, you have Robert Maine and Jim Cadis as a tag team, and they're doing stuff. They're automatically on your radar, even if you're not champions. Like Cooper and Stone. Let's say they win, they beat the Bastards, and you think they're not on their radar? That's silly.
Oh, Maine's on everyone's radar. That's the thing, is you got to look out for him no matter where you're at. I mean, he was Extreme Champion, Universal Champion, Tag Team Champion. He's just been all over the place. It's like no matter where you are, you always got to keep an eye out for him.
I know, and I beat him, so he's not on my radar anymore. Or is he? Because you got some post match shenanigans here. Kind of a play on what Robert had been doing to me. Paige's music hits, but instead of Paige coming out, and there's a little spot promo here where, he reveals that he's in front of the White House, and instead of coming and kicking Robert's ass, he's going to go ahead and kick Robert's friend's ass. And you see a bloody Drew being held by Andre Dixon. Some seeds planted here for a little bit later on in the show, and we'll cover all that at one time. After this, though, let me throw it over to you, Bobby, because the angle progressing here with you and Betsy. So talk to me about the follow up from the Retro Anarchy with the spot here.
One good turn deserves something. And with what I wrote for Retro Anarchy, I figured, it can't be lost. We got to keep it interesting. And Betsy's not a pushover. So, we went to the quote unquote backstage, or the facsimile thereof, because we're just going over the entire city of DC. Well, at least within a couple simple blocks. So I just had Bourbon and TK talking, watching the match, and then Bourbon goes out walking someplace, and he's monologuing to the camera, and bam, swift, hard, quick, and simple. Betsy comes in and just domes him, jumps off a trailer and whacks for the trash can, and then crushes his peanut against another trailer that's out there amongst all where the trailers are where all the stores are dressing. So we're definitely headed someplace. I look forward to like the character changes that we're going to be experiencing.
It's good development, and it lays the groundwork for the story that you're getting ready to tell. I love it. I'm all about it. Takes us into the main event. the Universal Championship. Corporate Chaos with Theo Price is taking on Alias. You got this two special guest referees here, Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. Big D, let me come out to you first with Alias's first title defense here.
Well, definitely a tough defense for your first one. Corporate chaos. Chaos has never been a joke. No matter what what character it is. Just tough competitor. One of those things could have gone either way, really. He's a former Universal Champion himself, so he's not someone you should take lightly. But good win for Alias. Again, showing that he deserves the championship. It's when you make the cash. I've never been a big fan of the cash-ins, and I know people know this. But so when you do that cash in, it's like I feel like you got a little bit more of a chip on your shoulder sometimes, and you come out here, you beat someone like Chaos, you going on to face Tara eventually. It's like that's some tough competition. And I know Alias is ready for the challenge.
Okay.
Well, this match was really well written. I like how they played into the whole at the White House, doing the spears and fighting throughout. It's good stuff. Pretty sure I know who wrote this one. They did a really good job. Alias retaining. I can't say that I didn't expect it, but Chaos had a really hard match on the Savage, and then leading right into this too. He put in the work he could. I think both guys did a great job.
Urban.
Yeah, this match was first title defense from Alias. Just to expatiate on what D said, yeah, that cash in happened, and once that happens, you really got to defend it somehow. Chaos has not had it easy since coming back, so kudos to him for actually sticking it out. I want to see what else he does, moving forward. If he can stick with the character and, just keep his head up, good things will happen. I've had slumps. I think we've all had slumps here and there. You just got to overcome those guys.
I think
like corporate character too. I'd like to also throw in. I do like the corporate character. I think it's an interesting concept. You throw Theo Price in there with him. It's definitely something. There's something there.
For sure.
Well, it's like I was saying earlier. If he can fully embrace this gimmick and it's it's a corporate chaos. It's a gimmick, right? I mean, it is what it is. But if he can fully embrace that, there's legs here. There's a lot that can happen. I've had a conversation with Theo about it last week actually about what I think could happen and what I think the character needs to do and the handler to really get this over because there's a lot of potential. Theo doesn't put himself in a storyline mix. It's rare. As a matter of fact, I think the last time it happened was with Chaos going into Relentless last year. They did a singles match. So to have that advantage as well, my suggestion to Chaos would be utilize it. Go all in on it, and shit could happen. It could really quick. It took us into the closing segment of the show, which was a piggyback off of the earlier, where Jim Cadis and Robert Maine show up in front of the White House to find Drew crucified to a cross with a crown of thorns on his head with a sign that says "Martyr" on it. And then they're kind of taken to task by Andre Dixon and CCP. Kind of piggybacking off of Cadis and Maine showing up on Savage distracting Andre, which kind of led to Corey getting the victory and taking the TV title. Um, let me throw this out to you, Big D. Like the segments that led to this. What are your thoughts about it? What are you thinking?
Well, you know that someone's after him, can tell you that. Um, I think that, you do something that brutal, I don't know, it definitely sticks out.
It's Robert's fault. If Robert would have just stayed out of my business, he wouldn't have to worry about his friends getting the shit kicked out of him. Am I right? Like that's all on him. Drew's blood's on his hands. TK, what are your thoughts?
Well, you gotta do what you gotta do to get a match with Robert Bain. If that takes kicking Drew Archile's ass, that's what it takes, right?
I mean, I'm not necessarily looking for the match. Character-wise, Paige is beating Robert. It's not at this point. It's almost like Robert's being a nuisance. So instead of going after Robert, I went after we pinpointed Argyle because I mean, who better to get to somebody than to beat up their best friends?
Sure.
Bobby, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's just carrying on with tradition that Bob stands for brutal overall beatdowns, and this is just yet another one. Bob getting that vengeance for everything that happened at Leap of Faith. It's kind of like if you've ever seen The Godfather. We're putting horse heads in beds.
Yeah, no, I thought about this one. I thought it was cute that they threw the little line in because one of the things that people say about Bob is how we always roll with numbers. So this was a 2-on-2 attack. There was no numbers, and I was a smart ass, and I think I even said something about it, like I didn't even need a numbers game to fucking drop you, which I thought was cute, and I thought it was a little interesting. But it closes out Warfare. Lots happening here. Between the Before we cover Anarchy, let me ask you guys this question because this is one that I forget to ask from time to time. Of all three shows, from the Retro Anarchy to the Savage to Warfare, who had the better show this go around? Okay, let me start with you.
Well, this is tough because I would normally say Warfare in this scenario, but Retro Anarchy, with the flashback matches that we didn't actually cover, they were neat. I think it brought something to the show. I'm actually going to give it to Anarchy for that reason. But Warfare had a lot of story-driven stuff going on, but I just like the gimmick. Would it be a gimmick? I don't know how you would say that, but the bits of the past blending into the current is pretty neat stuff.
Mr. Bourbon?
I'm gonna say that all the shows were high quality. That goes without saying. But I do want to give credence to Anarchy because somebody stepped out, and he stepped up, and he put on a show for us, which was awesome. So I'm gonna have to give the credit to Anarchy just because he doesn't normally run shows, and he knocked it out of the park. I know we bust Centurion's chops constantly on this podcast. And if we didn't love you, brother, we wouldn't be busting your chops. I want to preface that. Great work. Great work. Great read. Thank you.
D.
Yeah, Bobby brings up a good point. It's like this was Centurion putting on that show. It wasn't one of the GMs. It was him kind of maybe going out of his comfort zone. Putting on a show for everyone. Taking his time. Putting all the work in. Definitely paid off. I think all three shows really had their own unique thing. Anarchy was good for like the retro feel. Savage kind of felt maybe like a more traditional, wrestling show, and then Warfare had the really unique concept behind the DC the DC surroundings. So they were all good shows, but yeah, I think I agree with Bourbon. I'd give it to Anarchy because worked really hard to put that together for us.
Well, I'm torn between all three of them. I think they all kind of, I have to kind of echo your sentiments, D. Like they all kind of brought something different to the table. They're all really good in their own ways, but I mean, I guess I'll have to go with the majority and say the Retro Savage. But I will preface that by saying just because we bust Centurion's balls does not mean that you do not have the right as a human being to go into every role play he posts and hate it.
I will stand by that statement. I'll stand by
I'm
it.
just saying. I'm legit just saying. It is your God-given right to hate the role play. Please execute it. I'm asking you that he loves nothing more to see 20 people hate his shit. And I'll leave it at that. TK, and we're gonna roll into the another Anarchy show.
Paige, to cut you off really quick right there, just to add an addendum to what you just said. We always say John Black is a friend of the show. Centurion's a friend of the show too. Let's be fair. Every time he's been on here, he's been a wonderful guest, and I know he's going to be on here again. I'd like to have him on here and Dean. Maybe for something, I'll come up with some topics or something like that. Just do a little bit of a roundtable kind of thing. That would be cool.
Oh, we can do that, but you should still hate his role plays. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go hate his role plays.
Okay, cool. That's all I need. We just need to hate his work.
Well, rolling into Anarchy, we have an incredible pyro show. Some National Guard flyovers and a very, very sad sounding Vinnie Lane. First match on the card, we have Braden Walker, Katia Fire, Chelsea Chain Gang, and Crimson Lotus versus Job Guy, the Big Ups, and Joey Odd Jobs. It's an elimination match, Soul Survivor type deal. And one by one, an entire team's mollywopped, and the Syndicate reigned supreme, surviving 4-0.
Well, I think we all saw that one coming.
Yeah.
Good little win for the Syndicate to start things off. I'd be remiss if I didn't point out that 2 of the 4 didn't show up for this. So hopefully that's not a trend.
Well, for their sake, I hope it isn't, because they are new. They need to get that foothold in. If they want to make that kind of impact, that they want to be taken seriously, they got to show up, You can't just say, oh, yeah, we're important, and then leave it at that. You got to prove it.
Next match. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I agree for sure. If you want to get momentum, you gotta show up. Because otherwise you're, just gonna lose the match. That rate, I guess, is a good thing. It's one-sided in this case, but I guess from now on, hopefully.
Next match, we have the Dethroner, Jerry Vaden versus Maria Salvador. Is it Salvador?
Salvatore?
Yeah, Salvadore? I don't know. I'm really bad at names. So, we get into the match. There's some good back and forth where Jerry ends up picking up the win via submission.
Wasn't this Jerry's return match?
I
Well, I believe
so. Yes.
Yeah, I think it was.
Coming back and picking up a win. Always good to see. I know that she is a proponent of Fuck Bob, which we always love, by the way. Just a wink and a nod at you, Jerry. There's no such thing as bad publicity, right, guys?
Nope.
Go ahead, TK.
After that, we have a segment here submitted. Marf was poisoned for warfare, and he's in the hospital. We wish him all well, and we move on to our next match. Solace Tatum versus Lord Rab. The referee being Marty. I love Marty, the referee. Solace picks up the win. Up next, we have the God of Death, Giovanni De Santos versus Big Preesh. Big Preesh, big fan favorite, hashtag join Bob. Unfortunately doesn't get the job done, and the God of Death picks up a victory here.
You know what? I don't care what anybody says. To me, Big Preesh is a member of Bob.
He wishes he was Bob, but fan favorite because of it.
Big Preesh is a national treasure. That's just
Big
a fact.
D loves Big Preesh.
Big D and BP. Ha 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 ha.
Oh, jeez.
Following that, we have a nice little segment here from Mini Morbid. I love Mini Morbid so very much.
I love the fact that Mini Morbid brought out Mini Maverick.
Yep.
That's good shit. Love the character development here.
Oh, and Mini Mastermind too, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Following that, we have the Thugs versus both Thugs, John Black and Tommy Wish, versus Thias Watts. This was a fun little read. Thias Watts is just a huge man. And he does huge man things. And you should give it a read. He picks up the win here. Real fun stuff.
Hating the fact that JB taking the L here. Why is JB not challenging for the tag titles? I just don't know. Why is he not there? Is this a debut for Theosis Watts, or is this not a debut?
No,
he's an Avalanche.
I do believe he is undefeated, if I'm correct. Pretty sure. On the Anarchy brand.
Big D, you said he's an Avalanche?
Yeah.
Oh, we wouldn't know. You guys don't do segments.
Oh.
Just fucking with you, dude. Moving forward, TK, what do we got?
We got a little segment here, the State of Anarchy. Loverboy Vinny Lane addresses the fans for the fallout of BWO's Scorched Earth, which I'm sure we'll have a show about in and of itself, but currently we do not. Vinny comes out and basically apologizes and cancels himself. Miss Fury comes out and pretty much takes over. Anarchy moving forward, it looks like, will be called BWO Thursday Night Anarchy. Theo comes out and basically approves, but in Theo ways. And then we got a cool anti-smoking commercial. Give it a watch. Dogs smoking cigarettes are fucking awesome. I don't care what anyone says. Pretty neat
Makes
stuff.
me not want to smoke.
Speaking of cigarettes, I think I may have one. I'm just playing.
And moving on, we have Osira Themis versus Sint with Mr. Referee. A lot of good work went into this. Sint put out some good stuff. Osira put out some good stuff. It was a real good match. I don't know who wrote this one, but I enjoyed the shit out of it. Centurion picks up the victory here. Paige, any thoughts?
I mean, Sent picking up another win, back to back. Competed on Wednesday night, turned around and competed on Thursday night. It was earned. It wasn't given to him. Osira, as far as Anarchy is concerned, is usually a really solid read, and she was this time as well. It's a win for Sent as, BWO wise. It looks like he's on a collision course for a championship opportunity at some point. The bounce back with a win over Osira. It's a double bounce back really. So good job. Still go in and hate his fucking Robles.
Bobby?
Yeah, I think it was a fun match to read. Strong work by Sent and by Osira. Yeah, looks like he is going to be getting a shot at that EWO World Championship here soon.
D.
Great win by Sent. It was good. Good round role plays, and the match was good. Good win for Sent.
Moving on to our main event of the evening. For the Anarchy Championship, Ruby defends her title against Bob's very own $1 billion man, Big Money Oswald, in a hoedown throwdown match. Real good role plays going in from both people. I've never thought I'd see a hoedown throwdown, so that was interesting. Ruby picks up the win here. I'm going to start with D this time. You got any thoughts?
Well, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't cheering for Bob in this one, which is a rare thing for me, I would say. But yeah, it was good, between both of them. Oz had a great run lately, ever since Leap of Faith, even a little bit before that, he's just been churning out, um, top quality stuff. And, Ruby's always great to read. I think the match, showed their effort.
I couldn't agree more. I think it was the Demos victory that really gave Ozzy a boost, and he has rode that momentum since, and he's doing really well. Paige.
I don't think there's a whole lot that you can well backtrack for a second because there's a lot that you can't say. Ozzy has turned his game up a lot over the last, I'd say, 6-7 weeks. He's gotten some pretty big wins behind him, and it led to this championship opportunity. What I liked about it, actually, I ended up having to write this one. It was another last minute deal, but I tried to incorporate as much of the hoedown, throwdown, bluegrass stuff as I could, and we got a Terry Borden appearance here. For those who missed the BWO show, if you missed it, then you missed him turning heel and joining the BWO. Ultimately, though, it's Ruby who's retaining here, and Ruby's been red hot on this brand for so long now. It's I'm hard pressed to see who is going to take the championship off of her, because whoever does, she has made that title like I mean, she's made it fucking one of the more relevant belts in the Fed right now. I think she might be the longest reigning singles champion on the roster. Well, she is. Thad just picked up the Heart not too long ago. Corey just picked up the TV. Alias just picked up the Uni. So as far as singles, like, she's it. And as far as the tags too, she may have the longest reigning championship run right now of all champions on the roster, and that's impressive.
She definitely does. She definitely does. She won that back in January, I think. So, snow job.
So we're what in a 6 month, mark, 7 month mark for her as the Anarchy champion, and it's not over lack of competition. You know, she just got by Ozzy. She got by Fury not too long ago. She has like legit beat everybody that's been put in front of her. So whoever is the one who knocks off Ruby is going to gain a lot in the process.
And Bobby, the hardest job in the business is to follow everyone last.
Yeah.
So that's your honor.
Well, to quote a very intelligent man that I know, I'm going to have to say, I'd say that everybody summed it up pretty well. Yeah, I think that Ruby is on Anarchy. Ruby is damn near Ruby's untouchable. We've said it once. We've said it a billion times. Continuing her winning ways either. Go Rubes. And that's all I got to say about that.
Well, that finishes up Anarchy.
Guys, that's going to wrap this one up. That'll tie a bow on this episode. We had 4 shows to cover. I think we've managed to get through those, and I want to thank you guys for taking a listen. Big D, thanks for joining us for this episode, and you know, we've got a back-to-backer, so you'll be on our next one as well. But thanks for taking the time for this one for sure.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. It's been fun so far.
We try to make it fun, you know. We definitely try to do that. You know, TK, Bobby, another one in the can.
Yeah.
Guess there's really only one other thing to do here, and that's to throw it over to Vinny, man. Take us out.
From now, tomorrow, and forever, fuck you, Ghost Tank.
Thanks for listening to the Xwf Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Xwf YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at XWF1999. And don't forget to check us out at XWF99.com. Be sure to join us next time where the action never slows down.